What do YouTube? It's your boy Alvin MB10 aka AMR10, and what I got for you today is some more NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now, more specifically, the build that I have for you today happens to be the best 6'7" small forward build on NBA 2K23 Next Gen, and it is the #1 small forward build you should consider using when playing in the Rec or Pro-Am, just because this is the perfect complementary small forward build to an elite scoring point guard and slightly defensive 2 guard, whilst having other players around you that can do some things, because this is the small forward build that can technically do it all. It comes with the ability to get in pro contact dunks, gold blinders and agent 3s, meaning you can spot up anywhere. It also gets nice defense with a high enough interior defense but really good perimeter defense stats, as well as a high block, high defensive rebound, and then of course the nice physicals to match the build. Now, as you can see by the name of the person that we use for the inspiration for this build, it is an Andrew Wiggins build, because it is inspired by the fact that, as we've seen recently, including his championship run with the Warriors, the boy has the ability to do it all on the floor. Now, as I said, this is a small forward, right-handed. We're gonna go jersey number 22, because I did say it was inspired by the one and only Andrew Wiggins, who at this very moment is not playing, but hey, it is what it is. Now, height-wise, we did decide to go 6'7", whilst giving the build a weight of about 217 pounds, just because this allowed us to get an 82 strength, which, if you do want, would allow you to get gold bully. But personally, that's not something I run on builds at the moment, just because it only works on driving layups and stuff, and that is not my that's not my cup of tea. Like, if I'm going for a driving layup, I'm going up against someone who's way shorter than me, or just because I know I've got some room. Now, body shape wise, as most of you know, it makes no difference to how the game, it makes no difference to the attributes, but for me personally, I like to run compact just because it makes it look a little bit smoother when you run in the build. Now, I do gotta say a special thank you to all of you for all the support you've been showing to the channel. It is highly appreciated. And if you enjoyed today's video and want to see more content like this, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, as well as turning post notifications on. And lastly but not least, do me a favor and go down below in the comments telling me what you think about the build, whether you like it, hate it, or, you know what I'm saying, what other builds you want to see us make on the channel. Now, first things first, stamina wise, decided to go with an 88. Again, this is a small forward, not a point guard, so I don't really believe there's a need to go way higher than that. Vertically, you got to go with a 70 if you want to get those pro contacts, and then of course strength wise, this only went up to a 43 because of how high we put his driving layup as well as his perimeter defense. And then when it comes to the acceleration, we maxed this out at a 79 whilst putting his speed up to a 75. Now, from what I've seen from watching a bunch of videos, including some that I've recently been watching from TLM Blitz, well, I'm not gonna lie, got some dope builds out there. You don't need that high of a speed and excel to be close enough with each other, because I've seen some builds with 75 excel, 75 speed and a 91 excel just murdering people. So yeah, excel over speed, that's all I'll say to you. Now, to start off with the finishing, we decided to go with an 86 when it came to the driving dunk. This was powered by the fact that I wanted to get gold limitless takeoff as well as the pro contacts. Driving layup went all the way up to an 84, mainly because I wanted to get the batch count up, and as you can see, you need an 84 to get that +1 to 14. And then the close shot, of course, goes up to a 76, because that then does allow us to get 75, actually 76, it's just because, you know what I'm saying. Hold up, wait a minute. Yeah, no, it's a 75. Guess we get to save an attribute point. But it goes up so that we can finish it out with 16 total finishing badge points. And obviously with the +4 you get from having played my career, I would slap one here just so you have the capabilities of coring limitless takeoff. Either way, at the end of this video, I will be showing you how I'd run the badges myself, but core gold limitless take, most likely slap on posterizer, and then from there it's a choice of tier 1 and tier 2 badges depending on how you want to run them. But as I said, I will be showing you at the end of the video. Now, when it comes to shooting, decided to go with an 89 on the 3-ball just because we were aiming to get gold agent 3s as well as gold blinders, and an 86 on the mid-range just because we were aiming to get all the tier 1 badges that we could at Hall of Fame. Now, as you can see, this does allow us Hall of Fame tier 1, but the thing is, it also allows us gold catch and shoot agent 3s blinders paired up with silver limitless range and Deadeye. Now, my personal opinion, I would want to run gold catch and shoot because, again, you're the small forward. You're not going to be bringing the ball up a lot. A lot of situations you're going to be catching it, and sometimes you might be catching it in really tight situations, in which case having gold catch and shoot will be clutch. When it comes to agent 3s, I always say you might want to run that because in some situations you might have to create your own shot, in which case that does come through a little bit clutch. Now, on the free throw side of things, you always got to go with the decent rating. We decided to go with the 77 just because if you do take this build into the Rec and Pro-Am, like I'm suggesting you do, you will need a high enough free throw that people won't just be hacking you for the hell of it. Now, ball handling wise, decided to go with an 82 when it came to the ball handle. Originally, I'd gone with an 85 to get this build gold quick first step, but thinking about it as a small forward, there's not that much of an uber need for you to have it. And then when it came to the speed with the ball, I always go with a 79 just because I do know it allows me that extra little badge point once everything tallies up. And then a 76 on the pass accuracy because, yeah, I wanted to get them 20 total playmaking badge points for the key reason of there's a few playmaking badges I would really like to get on this build, and the only way to get them is by increasing that badge count. Now defensively, this is where the build does stand out a lot more than others because it does have the ability to firstly guard the interior, not amazingly but solid enough that majority of people won't try and take it in on you on the inside with a 68 interior defense. When it comes to the perimeter, we put this all the way up to a 77, meaning you're not a slouch defensively as you can get gold menace, which is nice when you're playing off the ball quite a bit, as well as Hall of Fame off-ball pest. On the steal side of things, you always got to go with a 78 just because you always have to try and get that silver interceptor, especially with the long wingspan, because it does allow you the capabilities of playing those passing lanes and keeping passes true. And then of course on the block side of things, always got to go with a 75 to allow yourself the capabilities of being able to switch up your badge combos and be able to run goal chase down artists when you need to in specific situations. Now this is the one way that the build stands out from majority of the builds I usually make that are 3s and lower, in that this build does come with an 82 when it comes to the defensive rebound, allowing you to be able to get gold box out beast, as well as the capabilities of getting bronze rebound chaser, bronze pogo stick, and just a few other necessary badges that you might want to run. Now as you can see, in total we do finish with 19 defensive, 20 playmaking, 26 shooting, 16 finishing badge points on this build, meaning we finish with a grand total of 19, 39, 45, 65, 71, 81 total badge points. Now through the playing micro, as I said before, you will get +4, allowing you to get to 85. And if you've managed to finish the previous seasons of NBA 2K23 next gen, and I'm sure that should get you up to about 88, 89 total badge points on this here build. Now I will be showing you the badges and how I run them at the end of this video as I promised, so we're gonna quickly go ahead and get straight into the takeovers. Now for a primary take, I always elect that if you're not a ball handler, you should probably go up with something of either the choice of limitless range or spot up precision. I'd personally say go with spot up precision because again, you're going to be doing a lot of catch and shoot situations, and as you can see, it provides a significant boost to well-timed stationary jump shots, which are catch and shoot jump shots. And then for the secondary one, I would most likely say to you run something along the lines of easy blow bys, just because, so messing myself up there, just because, as it says, enhances the ability to drive by defenders, making it easier to get to the rim. Plus, as we know with takeovers, they do give a slight boost to attributes, and easy blow finishing takes usually give a boost to your ability to speed, excel, all the things you need, vertical, and just generally all the attributes you do need. Now, in the shades of for this build, unfortunately, we did not get Andrew Wiggins. I did make another variation of this where we did, but in this one, we get Gerald Wallace, Brandon Ingram, Keldon Johnson. All three of these players basically play somewhat the same as him in the fact that all three can get their own shot, all three can knock down standing jump shots, and all three can play defense at a nice capability. Now, as you can see, it does say the name of the build happens to be a 3-level scorer, which in my personal opinion is always a name that when you get it on the build always shows you that the build can do what needs to be done. Now usually this is where we'd end the video and I'd say I'll catch you in a bit, deuces, but I'm gonna go ahead, set up the badges how I'd like them, and then we will get back into me explaining why I set them up the way I did. So let's get straight into that. Okay, so now I've managed to go through and set up the badges how I would set them up with how the limitations I have right now, because the key thing to remember is I don't have the +4 from having played through my career, I don't have the extra 3 or 4 badge points you get from having finished the seasons, nor do I have the ability to move my cores however I want them, so I'm a bit limited. But basically, if you didn't have those capabilities, the way I'd run the build is I would run Silver Acrobat, Aerial Wizard, Fearless Finisher, and of course Posterizer. Now if I had got the my career badge point, I would have slapped it here and cored gold limitless takeoff, but unfortunately I cannot. The thinking behind it being gold limitless takeoff, we all know how cheesy it is paired alongside with Posterizer. Fearless Finisher really comes through a lot when you're trying to absorb contact and still get through finishes, which I've noticed come through clutch for me. Acrobat just because, yeah, I'm not a finishing dude when it comes to finishing badges, but that's one I would run. And then Aerial Wizard just because it is an Andrew Wiggins build, plus with the driving capabilities you do have, you should be able to catch quite a few lobs on backdoor cuts, and having this badge will play a big pivotal role in that. Secondary, shooting wise, I decided to go with Gold Claymore, because as the badge says, increases the ability to knock down perimeter shots when spotting up patiently. As a small forward, that'll basically be your main job. Silver Guard Up just because, yeah, if you're doing a lot of catch and shoot situations, or even generally shooting, a lot of contests will be late in this game just because a lot of people don't play that well of defense, so in which case this will come through hella clutch for you. You could obviously run it at a higher tier if you did put the extra badge points you get on here. Midi Magician, my thinking behind this is it boosts effectiveness of pull-ups, spin shots, and fadeaways from mid-range area. If you really do have the ability of catching the ball, putting it down on the floor, and then pulling up at mid, this will come through clutch for you, which I personally sometimes do, even though I've been critiqued not for it. Gold Slippery Off Ball, just because this is still a badge a lot of people sleep on, and happens to be one of my favorite badges to run, just because it creates a lot of space when you don't really notice it. The gold catch and shoot is, as I explained before, this is a necessary badge to run just because when you're not the one, you're playing a lot of catch and shoot situations, in which case a badge literally called catch and shoot might be one you want to run for yourselves. Hall of Fame space created just because, yeah, I run this on every build I have because it works out nicely for me. And then core gold agent 3s as well as slap on silver limitless range, because again, if you're doing a lot of catch and shoot situations, you want to have the ability to be able to shoot from as far as you possibly can, and that if defenders see you step back at a distance, they might just step back because in their heads you're not pulling it up. Gold agent 3s because in some situations where you're not able to get yourself to the mid-range and let that midi-magician help you, you will need that gold agent 3s to bail you out in some of the shots you do take. Now, playmaking wise, again, this is another situation where I wish I did have a few badge points, because personally speaking, I was hoping to have slapped 2 here just so I could easily get bronze unpluckable, but I chose to go with silver killer combos as my core because, as it says, improves the player's ability to change together efficient dribble moves when sizing up their opponent. Necessary badge in my personal opinion. Vice grip just because if you don't have it, yeah, some of the passes that get thrown in this game, especially when you're running fast breaks, horrific. Silver quick first step because you always got to get by people. Same thing for hyperdrive. I'm just basically looking for badges that either help me in being able to get past defenders quicker, or badges that help me in being able to move the ball quicker or catch the ball quicker without risking a turnover, which is why needle threader and bailout are for the sole purposes of I want you to be able to throw passes without having to fear that you're going to throw a turnover, because nobody likes that. Vice grip because I don't want you to have to start juggling a ball when you catch it from a sender's outlet pass, as we have seen several times in 2K. If we had got bronze unpluckable, that would have been another necessary thing just to protect the ball. So as you can see, we're running 2 badges to protect us when throwing the ball and 2 badges to protect us when we're actually possessing the ball, and then the other 3 are just necessary for us when trying to break down defenders. Now defensively, this is where you can mix and match it depending on how you feel best for your personal gameplay. I found it interchangeable in that I left 3 badge points and unallocated because it's your choice. So you can either go with bronze chase down artist or bronze rebound chase in your personal opinion, or you could switch it up and then obviously add 2 from your extra badge points here and go for something along the lines of clamps, glove, or challenger at bronze. Now, the way I ran it was coring silver interceptor just because, as I said, with the 7-foot wingspan playing the 3, you're going to have a lot of situations where passes are either getting thrown at the man you're guarding or someone near him, in which case you want to be able to play those passing lanes. Silver menace because you're spending a lot of time guarding off the ball, and either way, when you're on the ball, this will come through clutch for you because, as it says, while guarding and staying up in front of an opponent, their attributes will drop if good defense is being played, in which case, if you are, you should be able to get yourself into some nice situations where you can possibly get steals or blocks. Anchor isn't just a badge I always say you got to run if you're a 3, 4, or 5, because as you can see, it increases a player's ability to block shots and protect the rim at a high level. As a 3, 4, or 5, you're going to get taken to the rim at some point, and you will need this to help you, which is why you might want to pair this up with bronze chase down artist. Gold workhorse I always got to run because anything that helps me in my ability to chase down loose balls, pause, is always a necessity. Gold off-ball pest is something I always run on any position that isn't a point guard because, again, a lot of time off the ball, in which case you really do want to run the best off the ball defensive badges you can. And then, of course, gold box out beast for the simple benefit of it improves the player's ability to box out and fight for good rebound position. This badge necessarily is me not being selfish because this will help your bigs a lot more than you know, because in some situations you may find that your big's not in the right position to box out, but you are, in which case running gold box out beast can help a lot and help you slow down the other team center and quite possibly help your big crash the board. Now, if you guys did enjoy me going through the badges and how I personally run them, do me a favor, go ahead and comment that down below because it is something that I'm willing to try doing. It's just an issue of I feel like I like leaving it to you guys to make it up for yourself because I don't want to give you advice on how I'd run badges and it suits my play style, but it doesn't suit yours. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, which if you did, don't forget to do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button down below. If you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as turning post notifications on. And lastly but not least, don't forget to drop a comment down below, tell me what you think about the video, what did you like about it, hate about it, or generally how you feel. But yeah, it's been your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10. I'll catch you in a bit. Deuces.